You know what just happened just before we went on air? There is minor news that everyone's treating as major news. Let's get into this.
It's our Roto-World player news. It is major news, according to Matthew Berry over here.
It's not. It's minor news. It's being treated as major news.
Kareem Hunt
Rotoworld.com
agrees to a 1-year, $4 million deal to return to the Cleveland Browns.
Yeah, this looks like a Jerome Ford fantasy manager right here to me.
No.
80% fab later.
How about this?
Yeah.
How about this looks like somebody that watched effing football last year.
Me.
How about that? Because you're like, oh, Matthew, fine, you prefer Jerome Ford over Kareem Hunt. You know who else prefers Jerome Ford over Kareem Hunt? The effing Cleveland Browns. Because that's what the choice they made this offseason. They were like, we're good with Kareem Hunt going away because of the confidence we have in Jerome Ford. And you know who's excited about Kareem Hunt being on the free agent wire, being out there available to be signed? Literally no one. 31 teams took a look. 31 teams passed. He had some camp visits, and they were like, yeah, we're good. There were running back needy teams, the Saints, the Colts, and they were like, they took a look at him, and they were like, yeah, we're good. We're good. Oh, you want to leave us to go to Indianapolis? We'll see you. That's fine. Last year, 3.8 yards per carry, career low. 4.8 yards per target, career low. Single-digit fantasy points in 14 of 17 games last year. 10 or fewer touches in 10 of 17 games last year. He was running back 47 on a points-per-game basis. So everyone's like, oh, my Kareem Hunt, he's a big name, and I get it, but not worried at all. He is a running back depth signing. It's only because of his previous success, candidly, with the Chiefs and I guess somewhat with the Browns as well. But honestly, I still think this is Jerome Ford's backfield. I think he's there for depth, and they'll spell him a little bit. But barring a major injury to Jerome Ford, I don't think Kareem Hunt has standalone fantasy value this year.
Yeah, I make the jokes, and you're definitely a little biased because you have Ford, but I'm going to agree. You got to. Like, they don't have any running backs on the roster. You got Jerome Ford, then you got Pierre Strong. So the Browns just needed a running back to have a running back, and why not have a running back who was just with you last year? We saw what Kareem Hunt did last year. He wasn't as successful as his first couple of years with the Browns. So at best, I could see him filling the same role that he had as last year to Nick Chubb. This time he'll do it with Jerome Ford, who just went for 106 on 16 carries. So that's nothing to just turn your head over either.
Yeah, I don't think it's major news. I'm not sure it's like medium news, but I think it affects Jerome Ford more than it affects Kareem Hunt in a way where you don't have to be, well, here's the thing. You have to be good to provide fantasy value, but you don't necessarily have to be good to ruin someone else's fantasy value. And I think that is the thing, is how much does he eat into Jerome Ford? I think the counter to that would be that Jerome Ford was never going to be a 3-down workhorse back the way that we hoped that Chubb would coming into the season. So there was probably always going to be someone cutting in, and it's probably just going to be Kareem Hunt instead of Pierre Strong.
I would argue the same situation that when Ramondre Stevenson when Ezekiel Elliott signed with the Patriots, and we're like, we think this is actually the best possible case for Ramondre Stevenson, because again, like, if they had brought in like Leonard Fournette, if they had traded for Cam Akers, if they traded for Jonathan Taylor, right? I mean, like, somebody that we'd seen be successful more recently, then you're like, this is a little bit more nervous. But the fact, again, it has been over a year since we've seen Kareem Hunt look effective, look like the old guy that we used to have, and maybe like the time off is, there's a little bit of fountain of youth. But yeah, they were always to Jay's point, they were always going to bring somebody in. And I'm actually glad that it's, somebody who's Kareem Hunt, who the current coaching staff is very familiar with, and they've made their decision sort of on where they think these two running backs are. So I still think Jerome Ford is a, top 20 running back the rest of the season.
Do you think that
even with like he'll play 65, he'll get 65% of the running back touches. Maybe 70.
Do you think they're out on still bringing in another running back?
I think if the opportunity presents itself, I think, this week will be very telling.
Yeah.
That's a team that's built to win right now. So I think that in 2 weeks, if they feel they need some help there, they will go out and add. But Jerome Ford has an opportunity here. And everything we saw against the Steelers and what we've seen in flashes since last year has made you think like this is a guy that can easily take the next step?
Tough first audition for Jerome Ford against a stout Titans run defense who no one has been able to run against for years at this point. So I would say that I'd expect Jerome Ford to not have a great game this weekend, and then I would trade for Jerome Ford for someone who is thinking that, I'm getting the next Nick Chubb, and now Kareem Hunt's here. Jerome Ford's had a bad game. At that point, you trade for him.
I agree. Hey, it's Matthew Berry from NBCSports.com and RotoWorld.com, and I want to thank you so much for watching whatever it is you just watched, or if nothing else, being too lazy to click out of the autoplay after this video started, after whatever it is you actually wanted to watch finished. But now that you're here, I'd like to take a moment here to ask you respectfully now, okay? I'm asking you respectfully to subscribe to the NFL on NBC YouTube channel. You'll get the latest RotoWorld fantasy news headlines, all sorts of great shows, including my own Fantasy Football Happy Hour. So go subscribe now. Again, I'm asking respectfully.